So in this question we are given the data for the different accounts and the amount budgeted for them and the actual amount spent. So let's write down the information. So step 1, the accounts that we have are payroll, taxes and insurance. We are given the amount budgeted for them. Let's denote this by A, B and amount spent, denoting this by AS. Now we have to calculate for which of these accounts did the amount spent differ from the amount budgeted. So you have to calculate the difference between the amount spent and the amount budgeted, and we have to identify which of these accounts, for which of these accounts the spending was more than 6% of the amount budgeted. So moving on to step 2, we have, now this is how we would approach the problem. We first need to calculate 6% of the amount budgeted for each of the accounts so that we get a value in dollars. We then calculate the difference between AB and AS, that is the amount budgeted and the amount spent. Notice we just take into consideration the magnitude and not the sign. So we have to keep this in mind. We now move on to step 3 since we have all the information that is required for further calculations. So in step 3, let's write down the accounts that we have, which are payroll, taxes and insurance. The amount budgeted for each of them is $110,000, $40,000 and $2,500. The amount spent for each of these accounts are $117,000, $42,000 and $2,340. Now this is all the data that we got from the question. We now move ahead to the calculation. We first have to calculate 6% of the amount budgeted. So 6% of AB for each of these accounts is 6 by 100 into $110,000, which is equal to $6,600. Then 6% of $40,000 is equal to $2,400. Similarly, 6% of $2,500 is equal to $150. We now calculate the difference between AB and AS, and if that difference is greater than 6% of AB, then for that account the difference between the amount spent from the amount budgeted is more than 6% of the amount budgeted. So let's calculate the difference. Now the difference would be $117,000 minus $110,000, which is $7,000. For taxes we have $42,000 minus $40,000, which is $2,000, and again for insurance we have $2,500 minus $2,340, which is $160. Now as we can see that for payroll the difference is greater than 6% of the amount budgeted. Hence for payroll the difference is greater than 6%. Moving on to taxes, we can see the 6% of amount budgeted is greater than the difference. So for taxes, say that the amount spent differ from the amount budgeted is not more than 6%. But for insurance again we can see that the difference is greater than 6% of amount budgeted. So the two accounts whose difference exceeded 6% are payroll and insurance. So the correct option is option D.